First of all, I'd like to say that accusing China of genocide is the biggest lie of all that rides roughshod over international law. The term genocide, which is universally believed to be a severe international crime, came into being against the backdrop of World War II to recount the destruction of a nation or of an ethnic group. The UN General Assembly adopted a Convention on Prevention and Punishment of Crime of Genocide, which defines the crime of genocide. Under the Convention, genocide means specified acts committed with intent to destroy in whole or in part a national, ethnical, racial, or religious group. In terms of the act, it must be proven that there was commission of specific acts under the Convention. This is the most elementary requirement for a finding of genocide, and it must be established beyond a reasonable doubt. The key elements must be proved at a high level of certainty, and the court must be fully convinced of the allegation. In terms of the intent, it must be proven that there was a specific intent to destroy in whole or in part in particular group. This is a critical element for a finding of genocide. The specific intent must be specifically and clearly demonstrated and proven. Therefore, a finding of genocide must result from the application of authoritative, stern, inflexible procedure. It must survive the strict scrutiny of the facts and withstand the test of time. No state, organization, or individual is qualified and entitled to arbitrarily determine that another state has committed genocide. In international relations, no country should use this accusation as a political label to conduct malicious manipulation. The U.S., based on lies and disinformation produced by anti-China forces, wantonly asserted that there is genocide in Xinjiang. This is the most preposterous lie of the century and an outrageous insult and affront to the Chinese people. As overwhelming facts are proven, the investigation report by the U.S. keeps citing and hyping up its disinformation fabricated by anti-China elements like Adrian Zenz. The few so-called witnesses are just actors of the U.S. Relevant media act as the megaphone to spread the lies. The shorty show is a deplorable patchwork. Xinjiang and many outside China has exposed and refuted their lies in various ways. The genocide allegation belies China's ethnic policy and Xinjiang's development and progress. China is a multi-ethnic country where the rights and interests of all ethnic minority groups are fully protected according to the Constitution and regional ethnic autonomy arrangement. All ethnic groups live in harmony together with equity, solidarity, and mutual assistance. We can say that China's policy on ethnic minorities are much better and more equal than that of the U.S. Ethnic minorities in China enjoy much greater happiness, equality, and dignity than those in the U.S. The U.S. keep churning out lies and weaving utterly groundless stories of forced labor and others. This is beyond absurd. China's family planning policy has been more leniently applied to ethnic minorities, leading to a higher growth rate in their populations compared to the national average. During the past 40 years, the population of Uyghurs in Xinjiang increased from over 5 million to over 12 million. Their life expectancy rose from 30 years 6 decades ago to 72. Has anyone seen this kind of genocide? To help residents shake off poverty through employment, Xinjiang government at all levels have been assisting them in finding jobs outside the region on the basis of fully respecting their will. As a result, people are leading better lives. Has anyone seen this kind of genocide? In Xinjiang, most cotton is now harvested mechanically. During the cotton picking season, migrant rural workers from Henan and Sichuan province would travel to Xinjiang for the job. This is no different from the Americans seeking cross-state employment or Europeans working in vineyards in autumn. As a major power, the U.S. turns a blind eye to the fact that Xinjiang enjoys security, prosperity, and development, and that the 25 million residents of all ethnic groups in the region live in harmony together with solidarity. It arbitrarily slapped the label of genocide on China, based on nothing but accounts of a few fake academics and false witnesses. This only exposes further its hypocrisy behind the talk about rule of law and rules. And serves as further evidence that the U.S. strategic conspiracy is attempting to create the so-called Xinjiang issue to contain China's development, as admitted by Wilkerson. This is what the U.S. and its few allies did to Iraq and Syria, but it will not and shall not work in China. The vicious and wanton accusation and insults that the U.S. flings at Xinjiang are in fact a reflection of its own crimes and sins committed in the past. First, there was genocide of native Indians through the westward expansion. Then, the U.S. launched military operations against Muslim countries under the pretext of counterterrorism following the September 11 attack. It used test-tube washing powder and a state video as evidence to launch unprovoked wars against sovereign states, causing numerous civilian casualties and the destruction of countless Muslim families. And you all remember the Guantanamo Bay detention camp, which is infamous for the U.S. abusive treatment for prisoners. More recently, Washington Post carried an article titled "How Native Americans Were Vaccinated Against Smallpox, Then Pushed Off Their Land." The article gave an account of the lies that the U.S. government has long told to native Indians and sinful deeds it conducted against them, such as distribution of blankets infected with smallpox with the purpose of killing American Indians and involuntary sterilization of thousands of native Indian women. The past couple of days witnessed widespread coverage of inhumane treatment of illegal immigrants, many children included, at the U.S.-Mexico border. We also noticed that when the UN Human Rights Council was reviewing the report of the U.S., over 110 countries criticized the U.S. on its human rights issues, asking the U.S. to take concrete measures to solve systematic problems such as poverty and discrimination against minority groups. The U.S. has no right whatsoever to criticize China on human rights issues. Let the curtain fall on this U.S. staged play. It is time for U.S. politicians to wake up from their Truman Show.